Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Johnson & Johnson is reserved for remote areas in Trinidad and Tobago. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Tuesday, 24th August 2021. Details when we return.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Remote coastal areas and rural communities are being given first preference by the Ministry of Health in Trinidad and Tobago for the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. TV6's Lucia has the details.
On Friday, TNT received 108,000 doses of the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine through the African Medical Supplies platform. That would now be added to the government's vaccination rollout, and Minister of Health Terence D'Alsing believes it's a chance for the numbers in TNT to rise significantly in relation to those who are fully vaccinated.
Johnson & Johnson vaccines, major benefit, one shot and you're done. As the CMO explained, one shot and you're done. The first tranche of these Johnson & Johnson vaccines will be sent to, and we are prioritizing in the first tranche, in the first instance, our remote coastal areas and villages. What am I talking about? There are many areas and pockets of communities in the coastal areas and even inland that want to be vaccinated but don't have the wherewithal to be transported twice to a mass vaccination site or even go to a health center.
And in that regard, Minister D'Alsing says the plan is to take the J&J vaccines to these communities, which are located across the country. These areas include San Souci, Las Cuevas, Blanchishes, and Matlot along the north coast, Guayaguayare and Kinahan Village in the east, Moruga, Losiro, and Cedros in the south, and Palatuvia, Speyside, and Charlottesville in Tobago.
By going out to communities, the communities will be primed a couple days before via the MPs, their councillors, the RHAs, miking, messaging, so on, giving you the information. And then when these mobile units come in, you have an opportunity to liaise one-on-one with healthcare professionals to answer your questions about vaccines in general, but in specific terms to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And hopefully we encourage you in these areas to be vaccinated.
Minister D'Alsing says people in these rural and remote areas who want to be vaccinated deserve to be given a chance to save their lives and will now have access to another world-class WHO-approved vaccine through what he calls breaking the barriers which hinder vaccination.
And not only the coastal regions in Trinidad and Tobago, there are some inland communities. I could talk as an MP for St. Joseph. You have a community like Bangladesh. You have the train line in Marabella. You have Valencia, where you have these communities of persons who need their questions answered.
Minister D'Alsing says 479,626 people, representing 34% of the population, have so far received their first dose, while 364,599 people, or 26%, have received their second dose of a COVID-19 vaccine.
What we hope to see now with Johnson & Johnson is that aquamarine line picks up pace, because there's one shot and you are considered vaccinated. 2 weeks after receiving that one shot.
Minister Dialsing says there are around 500,000 more people in TNT still to be vaccinated. Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
Barbados' opposition leader is on board with the country's current Governor-General Dame Sandra Mason being the island's first president under the Republican status. More in this Barbados Today news item.
Barbados' opposition leader is on board with government's plan to nominate Governor-General Dame Sandra Mason as the country's first president. However, Bishop Joseph Atherley says he's not in favor with the manner in which the Mayor Motley administration is transitioning the country to Republican status. In an address to the nation on Saturday, Prime Minister Mia Motley revealed that her administration had consulted Dame Sandra on the matter of becoming the island's first head of state, and she agreed. The nomination, however, must get the nod of the members of Parliament and the Senate.
Met with Her Excellency 2 months ago and indicated to her that my government would be proud to have her nominated as the first president of Barbados. I'm happy to report to the people of this nation today, that Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason has consented to my government nominating her at the appropriate time to be the first president of this nation. We feel that this is the way we want to go, and we want to thank Her Excellency for so graciously consenting in this manner.
Bishop Atherley tells Barbados Today he's in favor of Dame Sandra's nomination.
The Prime Minister's announced intention to nominate Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason to be the first president in the new republic. I am not at all against that. In fact, when the Prime Minister first announced the date Barbados becoming a republic, she said that we were going to be following some of the recommendations of the Ford report on constitutional reform. I knew from my research of the report that it had also recommended that the incumbent Governor General, the person filling the office of the Governor General at the time when we became a republic, should be the first head of state to become a president of Barbados. And I didn't hear any mention or any intention to do so. So I'm glad to see that it is coming forth now, because I had called for that.
But the opposition leader says he has concerns about aspects of the transition.
It's still being handled a little clumsily, if I would say so. The process of nomination is not known. The mechanism for such an election has not yet been formalized, and yet we can have announcements made to the extent that even the media, from what I read and from what I hear, are saying definitively that government has nominated Dame Sandra Mason to be the first president. I don't think that has been the case. The Prime Minister acknowledged the intention of government to name her as their nominee, which of course I support. So we are going to have a period of discussion nationally on constitutional reform post the changeover on the 30th of November. And I think the time period indicated is 15 months. I don't know that we need 15 months for that national dialogue.
Meanwhile, newly re-elected president of the Democratic Labour Party, Verla de Pisa, again weighed in on the country's transition to republic status. Presidential address on the final day of the party's annual conference on Sunday, de Pisa said government must go about the transition in the right way.
The republic conversation is the opportunity to make fundamental changes to our constitution. And they cannot be made after the fact. That is putting the cart before the horse. If you know by your assessment that this is a 15 to 18-month conversation, then you already know that you can't have a republic in any meaningful way on the 30th of November 2021. Really, people of Barbados need to stand up and speak out and insist that we be consulted. And I am not talking about the private consultations that are going on and the Zoom meetings and the panel discussions. I am talking about the government of the day coming and having a conversation with the people about the kind of country that they want, not the kind of country that you want, either for yourself or for others.
Is now upon us. So we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety, Be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Shortages reported among the survivors of Haiti's 7.2 earthquake 2 Saturdays ago.
Now, survivors of the recent 7.2 earthquake in Haiti are reporting experiencing shortages in aid and shelter, while government faces heavy criticism for its response to the disaster. More in this report from Al Jazeera News.
Lekai Football Stadium has turned into a rough camp for those left homeless by Saturday's earthquake, and a symbol of the lack of help they're getting. Scores of families are struggling in this muddy field. There's no water, toilets, or effective shelter. A piece of plastic to cover your family is a luxury here.
When it rains, we get wet. When you lay down, you get wet. We don't have a tarpaulin. We have nothing but problems.
When we visited them, they'd been there almost a week, but nobody from the government had come to help. Even worse, a camp leader and others we talked to told us that materials that do arrive are being taken by thugs or even law enforcement officers.
To get a handle on the surging fourth wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, authorities are extending curfew hours in St. Lucia. Riani Isidore of MBC Prime News reports.
Consistently high rate of COVID-positive diagnoses in August has forced authorities to review its infection prevention measures. Revised COVID control protocols introduced on August 13th have been amended. With more than 1,000 active COVID-19 infections under management by the Health Ministry, compounded by the detection of the highly infectious Delta variant on island, officials have scrambled to limit movement as a means of disrupting the current infection cycle.
Cabinet approved the following changes to the protocols established for the prevention and control of COVID-19 to take effect from Friday, August 20th until Tuesday, August 31st, 2021. 1. That a curfew be implemented as follows. A. Monday to Thursday from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. with closure of businesses at 8 p.m., 1 hour before the commencement of the curfew. B. Fridays and Saturdays from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. with closure of businesses at 6 p.m. C. Sundays from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. with closure of businesses at 3 p.m. 2. That public sector construction activities will be removed from the list of essential services. And 3. That all other measures remain the same.
The respiratory hospital has a max capacity of about 130 beds. In an August 13th news conference, the chief medical officer disclosed during the month of July, about 18 people were admitted to the respiratory hospital every week. St. Lucia's active COVID-positive case count exceeds 1,100 patients. 497 people tested positive during the first 2 weeks of August. The worst affected patients are being managed in the respiratory hospital, where there are 3 people currently admitted in critical care. According to Health Minister Moses Jean-Baptiste, only 1 doctor, supported by 4 support staff, have been tasked with remotely monitoring hundreds of patients confined to home isolation.
We are in the process of providing additional support to the contact tracing team and to the team which monitors patients in home isolation. Currently, we have only 1 doctor and 4 home isolation monitors for the whole of St. Lucia. We will change this situation and make it better.
The adjustments to the COVID control measures will require non-essential workers and businesses to end daily operations earlier, and the public restricted to their abodes for longer hours in an attempt to disrupt what has been an alarming infection rate. Rihani Isidore.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now makes it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.